Hi, welcome to Hello Action. We are so excited to be back today. And this time we're talking about intellectual property. This is about our seventh episode.
Yeah,
And we have been talking about all the things that we need to do to say hello to action, to keep striving after our goals, to keep consistent action in the positive direction in the right way. So, welcome. Hi, Alicia. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Welcome, my co host. So, we're just about to have a conversation on intellectual property. And I find it was so interesting for us to talk about this because we're both business women and we're both here trying to survive out here in the concrete jungle. Well, we're not in New York, but
You
in the
know?
concrete jungle of Canada. And I found we had so many conversations about intellectual property
Yeah.
and what decision to make and when should we copyright because we're both authors, and
hmm
then creating your foundation and all those sort of things. Trademarking came up, so we've been having a lot of conversations on protecting our intellectual property.
Yeah. I think it's so important about this whole podcast today, just because of how many people are actually becoming business owners today,
Hmm.
right? With COVID hitting, we've all realized that we actually really have to take action,
Yeah.
working for ourselves, protecting what we're creating. And I just think that this topic today is just so important just to learn how to protect yourself if you don't already have that knowledge and what to do to protect your work. Because
Hmm.
the thing is, too, is that you see with copyrights and trademarks and industrial design, all of these different things, there's so much like inventions today that
Yeah.
people they're not even aware of how to protect their work or where to start, how to get started, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
I love it.
it's
I love the fact that these topics are coming up. There's just getting into businesses and getting, being more independent and understanding that this is the knowledge that we really need to have because as we saw over time, like there was a lot of people who lost out because they didn't have the knowledge of a copyright or trademarking or things like that. And they lost a great idea because I can be in Canada and have a great idea. The same idea could be developing somewhere else,
yeah.
but basically is who's the first in line to be the one who is known
Oh,
after
yeah.
gets the credit. So this is one of the big things that we saw that it was really important to know what you need to do when it comes to your property. And then what
Exactly.
better month than April, World Intellectual Property Day is this month, and World Innovation Day for all the entrepreneurs out there is this month as well. So,
Yeah.
if we want to go into what is intellectual property, what would you say is intellectual property, Alicia?
Well, I believe that intellectual property is the branding behind it, the logos, the creative work, your audio, the songs, even like for podcasts, right?
Mhm.
Um, as well as contracted work and sacred of value. So
Yeah,
anything that is of value, right?
the contractor work is really important. It's really like something like like you build your or you draw your sketch or architectural
Mhm.
design or you
Exactly.
build something a certain way.
Right?
I had
A
no idea
condo.
you could trademark.
Yeah. Can
Know,
you
but
imagine?
yeah.
But you
Secrets
see,
of value. Yeah.
even when you go down the street today, if you're
Yeah.
just to walk by any condo, there's a certain way that they specifically, whoever that company is, they specifically designed that condo in a way.
Yeah.
And
Mhm,
imagine
mhm,
that is being
mhm.
trademarked, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. And secrets of value, like, when I hear secrets of value, I probably think about more like when it comes to trading stocks and stuff like that. Like if you have a certain method that works for you, or,
Mhm.
you have that secret to success, or
Yes,
you created some sort of algorithm that
exactly.
that brings success. You want to make sure, well, at that point you'll definitely be making sure that you protect your intellectual property, but
Absolutely.
it's really anything that you come up with that you definitely don't want any other person marketing off of your ideas. And I think a lot of times we have ideas and we just go out there and start to do them and we never think about protecting them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember seeing like on Instagram this person who designed something. he was kind of like calling out P Diddy because P Diddy did a brand with the similar look or clothing or whatever like that,
Right.
and he said that he had went to him before and he had proof that he had all of it, done before in advance or whatever like that. And you kind of like see that a lot with music, musicians, or any department, any category of anything business related. Sometimes you're sort of scared to bring an idea to a company because they might say no to you, and then 2 years later, you see the same idea that you brought to
Same
them,
idea.
right?
2 years ago,
And I
imagine.
think that's what happened to the guy. And he was like, wait a second,
Yeah.
I brought this idea to you. And it
Right.
wasn't good enough, but how is it good enough now? So I don't
Right.
know. I think this is really important. Once you start sharing your ideas, sharing your innovations out there, you got to make sure that it's protected.
Because it was the same thing. There was even a gentleman who I believe was like doing choreography for Beyonce, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken. I think it was
right,
Beyonce.
right.
And was just had one little movement, something like this.
Uh-huh.
And he was saying that he trademarked that choreography that he created. And
Yes,
he was saying that he was suing Beyonce for that
that's crazy, but
because
it
you
is
used the
good.
move. Yeah, you,
But it
you
is good. But you know what? As you talked about dance moves, that is something that we didn't even see in the definition there
know, right.
but remember that girl who created, was it that reel that she did, that TikTok that she
Uh-huh.
did?
Yes, she was one of the first to make
She was
that
one
first.
of the first to make that, and she didn't get the credit.
No.
And so they went through this whole thing of getting her to trademark the moves and get credit for the moves. And now any new dance comes out on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
they have the opportunity to trademark it.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. Reels and TikToks are being trade dance moves are now being trademarked because you see how important when your name is connected to something, you don't know if it's gonna blow up. It blows up
Yes.
and you're dust.
And you're just sitting there. You're just
And
sitting
you're
there.
just sitting there.
What
So
can you do?
that's what we're looking at. We're looking at how important it is. So what does it mean by innovation? Like for us, innovation is anything that you create, anything that you conceptualize with your mind, with your talents, with your skills, but it is yours.
Exactly.
Maybe it's some inspiration of someone else, but just like you were taught in, college or whatever about plagiarism, you also
Mhm.
want to say that, hey, I was inspired by whatever. I mean, it's just
Exactly. You
great and
give
respect
credit.
to give
You
credit.
give credit to where you've seen you
Yeah,
where you see that quote from, who you've heard it from, who you were inspired by. You give
yeah,
them credit, but the thing is too is that you're also going to be able to recreate. You
yeah,
know, look at Canva. There's so many different things that you can create from Canva. Do
yeah,
we give the credit to Canva? Absolutely. Because everybody is using Canva. You
yeah,
can't run away from it. You can't act like it's your full design, but you can create your own designs through
yeah.
Canva and with Canva, right?
Yeah, you can get inspiration from and then grow from that. So that's really important when it comes to innovation.
That's it. So how do you protect your intellectual property? How do you protect your ideas? There's so
Yeah,
many different ways, right? And I think
well,
as business owners,
go ahead.
as business owners, there's so many different ways to, you know, keep that business secure. And a lot of business owners actually don't take those steps to really securing their ideas,
Yeah, I
you know?
think a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like when
Yeah,
it comes to business owners, like because they've kind of become business owners in
right,
such a different path, like it's like breeding that they know they have to trademark for
yeah,
copyright. And I think too, like it depends on your like the craft or whatever that you're doing because us as
mhm,
authors, like we're immediately on that copyright
yeah,
business. We're not
yeah,
playing because
no,
we know as being an author how
mhm,
valuable your words are. So but I think on the other hand, if I had a great idea for my other businesses, I'm not thinking right away that I should trademark it.
yeah,
But so I guess it depends on the
on
business
type,
that you're in,
yeah,
as well as I feel like entrepreneurs, they're ready to go with ideas, but they're not thinking about, okay, what if this idea blows up? and I had
Yes,
no leverage that I created it, that I had it.
exactly.
Oh, what about that girl who created lace fronts?
Ah,
I heard a story about her. She was like one
really?
of the first to create lace fronts,
Right.
and she did a video on YouTube, la la la. But she never. That is a huge idea that
Hmm.
she never trademarked,
You
and
see?
so whoever did it after her, they trademarked it, even,
Absolutely.
even though they weren't the first, but they
Absolutely.
get the benefits of it.
Come on.
You have to protect yourself.
I
So,
think it's so important. Copyrights, trademarks, patents,
yeah,
confidentiality, design rights, trade secrets, inventions, more. There's so much.
there's so
There's so
many.
much.
So
It's
you do research and you try to figure out which one matches whatever you're doing. Like for us, we're
crazy.
more as authors and businesswomen, we're more looking at copyright and trademarks until we create something cool.
You know? Exactly. But look at how many people are in the hair business, in the nail design. They do all of
Right.
these beautiful creations, different hairstyles, different nail designs. They have all these products. They're worried so much more about the inventory
Hmm.
than actually protecting their idea.
You
You
know,
know, they
that's such a good point.
yes,
Because I guess in that way, people are not really thinking ahead. Like,
ahead.
you're
Yes.
not thinking about, okay, I just want to make money right now, but what if I've just created the perfect formula to
Exactly.
regrow bald hair, a
Right.
bald head, and you're
Yes.
so focused on selling instead of like, this could actually bring me
Hmm.
millions of dollars in the future. You know that
Exactly.
lady with is it kaleidoscopic? That
Yes, that's
oil?
exactly who I was just about to bring up.
Yeah,
Jessica Duper.
you
Yes.
go ahead.
I was just about to bring her up because she is one of the most like I have never seen a company grow so fast, to be honest with you. You
Yeah.
know, some companies take a long time to grow, especially if you're following up with it.
Mhm.
But she her story, especially because of the entrepreneur that she is, you see that you can feel her emotion behind it,
Mhm.
her journey. You can see how she went through everything, how she trademarked her business, how she did all the copyrights. Nobody can match that anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
Nobody can even put a rainbow on their, like, on any of their hair growths or any of those things, just because
Yeah.
of how she trademarked her stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that. And just going since we're in Atlanta, hi to everyone in Atlanta. If you have any Atlanta listeners, hi out there. Just since we're in Atlanta, let's touch with Candy from the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh Lord.
Keep trademarks and make sure to profit off of everything and anything that concerns her. Did you see what she did with that accusation of Portia about the dungeon?
What is happening?
Portia in one episode accused her of having some kind of sex dungeon, la la la. She basically trademarked that, made it a whole show, and went on tour.
I went on tour,
I went
Lord
on
girl.
tour and made tons of money.
Oh
And she
my
had a saying that she told Nene as well, and she trademarked that. Like nothing drops. She sees everything, every idea, even when it's not on purpose, and she makes sure she trademarks it and keeps it moving, keep that money in the pocket.
Look at
So
that.
we have to be on it, just like what
Yes,
Cardi B did when she had her popular saying
yes.
from that song, trademark. And I guess what we're coming to right now, Anisha, is that if we know that copyright and trademark and some of these things do protect our intellectual property, why aren't most of us doing it?
And it's really because people think that it costs so much.
Hmm.
It's the money. It's really the money, right? Because the thing is too is about copyright. What a copyright is that it's
Hmm.
just protecting your literary or audio, any of those things that are things that you create,
Hmm.
writing, and you're copywriting that idea. You're
Hmm.
copywriting those words. You're copying, the speech that you say,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is too is like you see for this exact, let's say for example this podcast, this is something that could be copyrighted, that
Yeah.
will be copyrighted, right? And for any of our books, we know that it's important to copyright.
Yeah.
It's definite, where we have original quotes, where we have ideas that we thought of for years and years, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Or months, even, whatever, however long. Some people think that it costs so much to copyright, but realistically, guys, and you're going to be shocked about this, but copyright costs $50.
It's really cheap in Canada. We're not sure about the
Yes,
US, guys,
I'm
but
not sure about you guys, but
yeah, but Canada is pretty cheap. Under $100, you can copyright
come on.
anything.
Yes,
And you can add on different things, but
yes,
basically, you're not gonna break an arm and a leg or cut off an arm and a leg to copyright
mm,
anything that you do. But I also think, as authors, when you publish a piece of work that is yours,
yes,
it becomes a copyrighted piece of material, especially if you're attached to a publishing company who
yes.
owns the rights of your content. That's there. But for example, if you had an idea in that book, right,
Mm-hmm.
that someone else had copyrighted or someone else had maybe five words together. That's like a self help book, and it's like Get Up and Move or something like that. That's really
Mm-hmm.
popular. And that could cause you problems if you use
Yes,
someone's copyrighted work. But I'm really happy that we talked about that because a lot of times you think it's really difficult to
yes.
overcome, not difficult, but expensive. But I think what it is that the application process could be a little tedious.
It
And
is
that
tedious.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of
And
sways.
especially if you're going through it by yourself, right? You're learning everything by yourself. You don't have somebody to necessarily help you. But on I believe it's Canada.ca, when
Hmm.
you go on the intellectual property site, you are
Hmm.
able to find customer service numbers and actually get the help that you need.
Yeah.
They can direct you completely because I was able to have like an hour conversation
Wow.
about copyrights. Yeah. So thank God for that lady who was on the phone because she put up with all my questions and she answered everything perfectly.
That's so nice.
And
I love it.
you're lucky to get those type of people, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so here we go. We're going into trademark, but I think what's really important to kind of like just differentiate what's the difference between copyright and trademark. I think a lot of times we sort of get a little confused. Even myself,
Yes,
when I just started getting into business, I really wanted to know the difference. I know that there's a complete difference in fees, though. We know that
yes,
trademarking it gets a bit tougher
it
with
gets,
the
yeah.
money. So for copyright, as you said, protects tangible pieces of work like
Hmm.
movies, music, and literature. But
Yes.
trademark, it protects words, phrases, and designs or logos. So, like Cardi B, what is that song that she did? Kodak Black,
Uh,
Black song. What
Kodak,
is
no, it's Bodak Yellow, I think it
Bodak
is.
Yellow? Whatever
Something like
it is.
that.
Something she said in that song. I really don't remember. Something she said in that song. She trademarked um,
Hmm.
popular jingle stuff. You trademark. Um, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. That's trademarked.
Hmm.
There's tons of things that are trademarked.
Beautiful designs that you've created,
Yeah,
logos, your logo. If you
a
have designed
logo,
your logo, yeah, that is the
right?
most, I mean, that's the most common, right?
Like
If
Nike,
yes, McDonald's, you
McDonald's.
know the brand, you know
Oh
it.
my God, that M. Tell
Hmm.
me that you don't when you go to like when you
Tell
travel.
me you don't know it.
When you travel, you're looking for that M high in the sky
Exactly. You know
because
that M from a mile away, girl.
from a mile away, you know what that M means, but you also know that although it may not be the total best, you know that you'll be okay with whatever you get from that M,
Exactly.
wherever it is in the world.
And
Um,
the thing is, you know what that M stands for. You know
yeah,
what services that M provides as
yeah,
soon as you see the M, you know? And I think
yeah.
that that's a very important thing because as soon as you see the Nike logo, you know it's for shoes.
Hmm.
You know, as soon as you see the M, you know it's McDonald's, you know it's for food.
Right.
Right?
Some popular trademarks. Kleenex. What I
Yes.
love about Kleenex is that they're so popular that you even call other brands
Hmm.
of tissue Kleenex. Like, isn't
Yes.
that crazy?
You don't
Crazy.
even know the name, but you just say Kleenex. So
You
that's
don't
it.
even know the name. You just they're giving them publicity, marketing. Can you pass me a Kleenex? And it's like it's not a
Mhm.
Kleenex box. It's so crazy. Um, what about Coca-Cola? Like the
Oh,
font, everything.
exactly. You as soon as you see a red bottle, you think of Coke.
Yeah, that design though, and we're talking about coming up. The design of the Coca-Cola bottle I saw was trademarked as well.
Yeah,
Can't have no other drink that looks exactly like that. And you
exactly.
even call it what Coca-Cola bottle shape? Like that's just crazy. Sony, even the Sony. because how it looks, it has a look, it has the font. You
Mm-hmm.
know that it's a
You know
Sony.
it's bold, you know
Whatever.
it's big.
Yeah, so they have tons of different ones like Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
Sunbeam Products,
Apple.
Kawasaki, Apple,
Mm-hmm.
trademark, the logo, everything is trademark. So those are some popular ones. Starbucks, that, even the green with that type of, what it is. You know what
Yeah.
it is. And that's why people trademark
Yeah.
their brands, their logo, because it's all about branding. Whatever is
Yeah.
attached to that brand, that look, they know
Mm-hmm.
what comes with it, the quality, the service, the products, and so
Yeah.
it's always important to protect that. So trademarking, we just explained the difference and why
Mm-hmm.
that's important. What about patent?
Patent. Sorry, just want to also mention one more thing for trademark because I know we didn't mention any of the cost actually.
For the trademark, yeah, let's do it the cost, yeah.
So the cost for a trademark actually starts from $300 in
Yeah.
Canada.
That's a
So
lot
that's
when you're an entrepreneur.
exactly. And especially when sometimes you don't make a check,
Oh gosh.
for the first month or the second month or the first year, it can be very, very hard. And some people actually really get discouraged because of that, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is too is that you see again just going back to what I was saying about either that design that you create, well, just say your services in general, anything that you do, if you do hair, if you do nails, if you just do branding, you know unfortunately sometimes just because of that trademark some people will not even want to pay that.
Yeah.
But the thing is too is that even if you're making more money of those services, right, we sometimes forget that okay, somebody else out there is
Mhm.
probably doing the same thing I'm doing. They might not even be that great at what I'm doing, but
Mhm.
they can easily take away just your trademark rights just by taking that step and paying, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things about trademark that I think is important to
Yeah, I
keep.
love that. Yeah, that's really important to know. So let's go over to patent. We're going to run through these really quickly. Patent. What do you know about patent? I know it's quite different from trademarking, and it
Hmm.
more has to deal with like design patent. Like if you've created something, you get it patented. I would say like
Hmm.
probably a different type of. It's basically what you do for an invention.
Hmm.
So if you've invented something and you want to prevent someone from inventing something exactly like that, like Microsoft,
Yep.
it's patented. You have that patented, and that way nobody can create something that
Like
follows this. They have to go different. They have to do it differently. So that's what
exactly.
patent is. I don't know if you want to touch anything on that.
I think it's also important about patent is like Apple, right?
Mhm.
Nobody can touch that Apple sign, you
Yeah,
know? Like you said, Microsoft is a big company, right? It controls all your computers, it controls all,
yeah,
everything that we have that's literally like practically electronic, right? The software.
yeah,
As soon as you download Microsoft, you have Word, you have what else? You have Excel, you have Explorer, right? Well, I mean, it's not a part of Microsoft itself, but you know that those things come with it, right? So the
yeah.
same with Apple. Apple, you're gonna have iCloud, you're gonna have these different things, and those things are absolutely patented, you know?
Yeah, for popular patents, we have the light bulb,
Hmm.
combustion engine, the telephone, the computer, Bluetooth, Google Page Rank. All these things are patented. They're huge inventions that you prevent someone from creating something exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's really something. And I'm sure the cost for
Hmm.
patents. When I think about it, the
Oh boy.
cost to prevent anyone from creating something similar to your idea
Similar.
must run close to the trademarking fees. So, like we see,
Yep.
there's a couple fees that's close to trademarking. So you're looking at $300 to $3,000,
Yep.
$5,000, and there's
Exactly.
different things that are added on. For example, if you wanted, and this is for copyright and trademark or anything, if you
Yep.
wanted to say copyright, trademark, or patent something in Canada only, it will
Hmm.
have a different price. If you wanted to do Canada and US, it would have a
Yes.
different. So the greater your area spans out, the more money that's attached to your patent or your trademark or
Exactly.
whatever. So that's just good to keep in mind.
That's it.
Yeah. What is it? Industrial design, right?
Industrial design. Yeah, so industrial design is just basically something that is created to provide a better quality of life. So
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, let's say, for example, going back to Apple, which is something you see a telephone, you can't even let go of your telephone today,
Yeah.
right? You
Yes.
need your telephone. Like it's funny because we used to not be able to give kids telephones, and
Mm-hmm.
now they must have one, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to communicate with them. And this is something that is so important. It's also a lot of mobile phones, vacuum cleaners, chairs. There's so many different ways of industrial design, but it's
Mm-hmm.
anything that is created in the service that builds a better business success.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that is something that you can use, something that is um, very important, for technology advancements.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it, yeah, and then also the costs go from 300 and up, as you said
Yeah.
before.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, after we've talked about all of this, we see that it's really important to protect our intellectual property because it helps. It basically protects your money. Your ideas are money. You don't know it when you create it, but you just never know. Just imagine the person who invented the telephone who never
Mhm.
patented their idea.
Right,
It will be lost in history. But we
right.
also see that there are many people who are lost in history because they never patented their ideas. We even remember talking about the woman who's, for example, wrote The Matrix, and it's a 20-year
Mhm.
battle about the rights. These are
Yeah,
the sort of things that we see over time is that 20-year battle for someone taking an idea of yours that you probably didn't have copyrighted or trademarked,
right.
and so you're trying to find your place because all the Matrix is so so
It's
popular,
so popular.
so popular.
Everybody knows the Matrix.
Everybody know, yeah. So basically, let's go through these quick 10 famous intellectual property disputes.
Hmm.
So we see that uh, S. Victor Whitman and the Warner Brothers for the Hangover movie.
Oh, wow.
Basically, someone in the movie had a tattoo that was trademarked from a tattoo artist, and he did not give Warner Brothers the rights to use it in the Hangover Part Two movie, and he's suing them. So,
Lord have
I love
mercy. A
it. I love
tattoo.
it. I love
You
it.
hear this, guys? A tattoo.
Yeah. Number two, Isaac Newton versus Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz.
Oh,
They're fighting over who created calculus. And basically, Newton claimed he created calculus. This is huge, by the way. Calculus is
right.
used for everything. Newton is saying that he created it first, but today they're both given co inventors because they both died. But isn't that crazy?
Oh,
Kellogg's versus National Biscuit. So the National Biscuit, they have a lawsuit against Kellogg's, arguing that they should not use shredded wheat on their box because it's in violation of their trademark. And I guess this is a really important point to bring up. When you do your trademarking, you need to list the things that cannot be
things.
replicated, used, and you
Exactly.
need to list all the conditions.
Yes.
And if you miss one condition, that is a leeway for another company to say, oh, well, you never said that I
Yeah.
couldn't use it on Podcast Night.
Exactly. Yeah, and you have to make sure you trademark the colors, everything. Even the color
Colors.
is important. Even the color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, we have here Mattel Inc. versus MGA Entertainment. Barbie is in big struggle, confusion with Bratz dolls because some of the likeness is similar. So they are also in a lawsuit to sort of get them to not use that. So there we go, design patents.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. What is this? Campbell versus Akufro's music.
Hmm.
And this is about the old pretty woman from Pretty Woman. So just lyrics in a song. And
Copyright.
so even we see a lot of that over time that there's lots of
Mhm.
um, popular people, individual celebrities who are still fighting to this day to maintain their intellectual property. A&M Records versus Napster. First of all, the fact that we don't know what Napster is anymore and it's a distant
Right?
memory is telling you why you should trademark. So if you don't know what Napster is, this is evidence of why you need to trademark or patent your stuff because Napster used to be. Do you remember Napster?
Not even. So
Napster,
you see, guys.
you see, guys, Napster used to be like a music platform. Napster
Oh
used
my
to be a
God,
music platform
girl.
until who boosted them up?
Livewire.
A&M Records. So
No,
basically, they're gone. Toodles, look what we have now. You have Tidal, you
right?
have Apple Music,
Yes.
you have
Spotify.
Spotify.
Hmm.
Napster is a long gone dream, and they were one of the first to start that
Yeah,
online music platform. Gone.
exactly.
So if this is not reasons why you should protect
Mhm.
your intellectual property, guys, I don't know
Guys,
what it is. So
y'all better say hello to action because oh my gosh, that is just the best example right there because this is crazy.
this was
When you
interesting.
have an idea, when you have
Yeah.
something in your brain, when you
Mhm.
dream about this thing, when
Yeah.
you breathe it, you need to make sure that you take the action you need to make sure that you trademark, you copyright, you patent, you industrial design, any of those things, register
And
for
get
it.
it.
I'm telling you,
And I
get it
think
done.
what's even just to add to that before we close is that you must have action because so many people are
Yeah,
having ideas and dreams
yeah,
and they have the resources. Probably you don't have
yeah,
the resources, or they have that drive. Probably you're lacking the drive, the
exactly.
motivation to say hello to action and get it done. But then you'll be on TV
Mm-hmm.
watching some inventions or something's happening that you're like, oh my God, I had this idea. How many times that has happened, right? Where you're looking at somebody like, oh, I had that idea. And I
Exactly.
saw that happen to my own self where I had this idea for something I was doing from a speaking engagement that I had. And I was like, oh my God, if I only had the money. Literally a
Yeah,
week later, I saw someone invented the exact same thing. They had the
exactly.
money, the resources, and the motivation to get it done. So we
Yeah,
need to really figure out where we stand, what we're doing, so that when
yeah,
it's time to take action on our goals, that we could actually do it. We have the
exactly.
resources to make it happen.
Exactly. That's exactly it, girl.
Yeah. So
This last thing. So, where can you get more information on copyright and trademark patent industrial design? Make sure to go on www.ic.gc.ca, and there is even www.canada.ca as well, where
yeah,
you'll be able to check out those things. You can read up more about trademarks, copyrights, patent, industrial design, and don't wait before it's too late. Okay? Make
don't
sure
wait
you take
before it's
action.
too late. Bye, guys. Take care. Say hello to
Yeah.
action.